So a few days ago, we did a video speculating when the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC Pack 3 would drop, and in this character pack, we're expecting characters like Goma, Majin Buu, and Super Saiyan 4 Mini and Adult Goku. But after this third DLC, what's next? Dragon Ball Sparking Zero had one of the most anticipated releases of all time, sold millions of copies in the first month, and planned out a whole DLC schedule for the first year, but to some people, the roster was still pretty underwhelming. At the time I'm making this video, I'm pretty sure the Sparking Zero roster has pretty much eclipsed 200 characters since the last two DLC packs have come out, but after the rest of the Diamond characters get added, who exactly are we still missing? In this video, I want to talk about the rest of the Dragon Ball characters that could be getting added in future DLC past Season 1. If you guys agree or maybe even have slightly different thoughts, let me know down below in the comments. Consider liking and sharing the video, and let's hop on in. So before we even get to a Season 2 DLC for Sparking Zero, we'd of course like for the final Diamond Pack, allegedly, to have pretty much every character that we've been anticipating and ones that I'm surprised didn't make it in the first pack somehow. Sometime in the next 1 to 2 months, according to the Sparking Zero DLC schedule we took a look at recently, we should be expecting the second Diamond DLC sometime in Q2, which we're now in. I feel like every Daima character outside of Super Saiyan 4 Mini and Adult Goku, as well as Goma, could have pretty much been in Pack 1, right? This includes characters like Piccolo Mini, the Tamagamis, Shin, and even, this might be pushing it a little bit, but Majin Buu as well. But I understand that they probably want to make this next Daima DLC one of, if not the largest packs yet, even bigger than the superhero release. But since the first Daima DLC was so small in comparison to the Hero of Justice pack, which off the top of my head I think had 11 characters, there's a lot to anticipate, but also a lot that we could also be disappointed in as well. I said in my last video, but it would not surprise me in the slightest if they didn't include Piccolo Mini, skip Shin, and didn't add all three of the Tamagamis either. And I have no evidence to support this besides just a weird gut feeling. I hope it's not the case, but weirder things have happened, like some things that we're going to talk about here in a bit. But after the second Diamond DLC pack, this is when Sparking Zero begins to hit a sort of weird time in its life. Are Spike and Bandai just going to take the weights off and really make this the largest and most ridiculous roster of all time in Dragon Ball gaming? I remember one of the weirdest moments during that huge trailer run pre-release that Sparking Zero had last year was when we realized that Kid Goku was the sole OG Dragon Ball representation in the game. So of course, when the game came out, there was a ton of speculation, and if I remember correctly, there might have even been some data mining going on revolving around potentially one of the future DLC being OG Dragon Ball based. Now, it has been around 8 months at this point, so I could be misremembering that, but characters like Tao specifically were being speculated on heavily. General Tao, Devilman, Demon King Piccolo, Chi-Chi, and Arale are characters that I think could definitely make the game more interesting in a potential future OG Dragon Ball DLC. Other characters in Dragon Ball Z that surprisingly didn't make it on initial release but have been highly requested and anticipated are androids 14 and 15. I mean, we already have android 13, so we might as well put his two brothers in as well. And they've been in previous Dragon Ball games before already. Hachiyak and Pikkon, who was extremely surprising to not see on the base roster. Equally as surprising might be Shin, the Supreme Kai of Universe 7, who already has a model in the game that we can all see on the multiplayer menu, so it really just baffles me that he wasn't in the first Daima DLC or the base roster at the very least. The GT package might be just as surprising as the OG Dragon Ball representation, in my opinion at least, because I know I am not the only one who was expecting a little bit more from this series. Right now we have the Super Saiyan 4s, Baby, and Omega Shenron. I think that's it. Super 17 might be the single most shocking exclusion from the base roster that I legitimately to this day cannot understand, but in a way, I guess if they're planning for the future, you could try to make sense of it if they plan to do a GT DLC pack down the road. Super 17 along with Ice and Nova Shinron, and maybe even someone like Legic if they don't want to do the rest of the Shadow Dragons, could make for a pretty decent DLC, and then they could just pad it with other characters like Lude and Rildo just to kind of fill it out a little bit more, I guess. Xenoverse / Dragon Ball Online characters could also make things really interesting as well, and this might be a hot take, but this could potentially be one of the best selling DLCs too. Toa, Mira, Fu, and Demigra would be an insane future DLC. Like, honestly, I don't care how much people like to cap on Xenoverse, I'm almost certain that this would sell crazy. And honestly, what I'm about to say next goes for not only Sparking Zero, but Dragon Ball Legends as well. But Super Dragon Ball Heroes is just this untapped gold mine of content. Most of the characters could just be, single slot characters with no transformations, but having characters like Xeno Vegito, Cumber, Beat, and all of their forms, this would definitely bring hype back to the game and potentially even revive the player base somewhat, in my opinion, as long as the devs keep making those appropriate adjustments like they have been with the last few patches. I think this is a great route to take. And I know what you guys are thinking, you're right. Of course, there are a ton of other side characters missing from Sparking Zero as of right now. Like, off the top of my head, Kibito is a character that we could get. We don't have Shin or Kibito Kai, so I think that's pretty weird. Tambourine, Teen Goku, and Piccolo Jr., but when it comes to a high-selling DLC, I think the ones that I've kind of named here are more so what we'd be hoping for when it comes to Sparking Zero potentially getting a big Season 2 for DLC. Characters from Raging Blast like the old Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta model and Super Saiyan 3 Broly would be cool, don't get me wrong, but personally, I just don't ever see that happening. And manga characters, trust me fellas, I did not forget about all of you guys that still want Ultra Ego Vegeta and Moro, but as we all know, this is probably pretty much not happening either, unless a major breakthrough with the anime develops in the near future. But ever since Toriyama's passing, unfortunately, it seems like things have just gotten much more complicated with Shueisha behind the scenes. I mean, outside of that, one standalone chapter that we had in, I think, February, we are over a year out from the end of the superhero arc in the manga, and there is still no sign, no hint, no nothing of whenever Toyotaro is gonna return with the manga. So everything is just kind of up in the air with Dragon Ball right now. There's really nothing consistent going on except for like the mobile games. But anyways, fellas, let me know what you guys think of all the characters that we listed here today that I think we could potentially see in, fingers crossed, the next season of Sparking Zero after the second Daima DLC character pack. And let me know some of the characters you think that I missed that would make a lot of sense to have in the game potentially as well. Don't forget to like and share the video. Have a great day, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.